I'm in the studio. Hard to track this man down. He's always out and about, and he's a busy bee as he is with what he does with his workload. But let me introduce you to him, and it is my good friend Wolfgang Division. Afternoon, mate. How are we doing?
Hello, sir. I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, all good, and appreciate you coming on. I know it's hard to pin you down, mate. I'll tell you that for now.
Well, I can say the same thing about you, because one thing about I always work late and you always work a bit late. So it's like, Tony, can you come on? He's like, no, mate, I'm too tired. You were falling asleep on my last stream. You even got clipped because of it. I couldn't believe it.
I know, mate. I know that one. So,
how you been? Though? You been well? How's work?
Yeah, work's busy. I mean, we're just kind of obviously recruiting ready for the summertime. Well, it's already kind of busy now with the drivers, etc., and things like that. And the airport. I mean, the last couple of days we had obviously the half term started, so we had over 50,000 people a day going out from the airport. So mad busy. So let's see some people in the chat already. So obviously the first one here is Trip Vic.
Yeah, big up.
Evening, that's my guy. Wolfgang Division is a real one, yeah. And obviously the other one as well.
The long-haired one.
The long-haired one. Yeah.
What are you doing out of your cave? Get back in your effing cave. No, big up. The long-haired one every time. Big up, brother.
Hit the likes and subscribe so Tom can hit 300 and say, this is Sparta.
This is Sparta.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. And don't forget, guys, always make sure we go to Long-Haired Yeti's cave as well. Give him a good old like, hit and subscribe, as well as to my man to my left or your right, whichever way you want to look at it. Afternoon, usual suspects.
I'm looking around for you. Where?
He's somewhere around. Big up Wolfie. Subscribe to Wolfgang Division, guys. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. So, mate, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And obviously, as we're getting near to the end of them, I'm going to put it out to the chat. And they can then fire some questions at you. So it's going to be a nice, chilled out, roughly about an hour. So we should be good at what we're going to do here anyway. Just a couple of other people. Big up Eros.
Well, as long as you keep on paying me, I'm good for as long as you
want. You know that. The money's coming. The money's still ticking on there. I can see the meter in the background.
I'm on the meter.
I can hear it now. And King Mikkel, afternoon to yourself. Big up Etos.
Oh, you leave E. Ross alone. He's my mate. He sticks by me. You leave E. Ross alone, mate. It's solid, mate.
So anyway, here's your first question I'm going to ask you now. So it's a very simple one. Just tell me about yourself.
Well, okay. I'm Simon Rayner. I'm about 5'9". I'm a Chelsea fan. Don't hold that against me. Etos in the building. Sorry, I didn't
I know.
I'm sorry. That was quite a good one. Well done, Rossi. That was a good, funny one. Yeah, but I'm a Chelsea fan. I got into it a little bit late. I didn't always start off as a football holic. I had to kind of hit 8 or 9 before I really started to get into football. But I'm a chilled out guy. I work as a security guard. I float around London like a lot of people that work in London do. So it's kind of like, it's one of those ones where I like to keep myself busy. As Tony just said a minute ago, I like to keep myself busy, whether it's work, family, YouTube projects, whatever. You know what I mean? I like to try and keep my head down. And you know what they say, time always flies.
Exactly.
You keep your head down. So, I'm just your regular hustler, like everybody else.
It's good to be, mate. Wolf, tell this man, yeah. Pick up Yeti in Ketia.
Ketia. That's a good one, actually. I like that one, Yeti in Ketia.
So, how long have you supported Chelsea? I mean, obviously, you said since he's 8-year-old, so you're going to give your age away now.
Well, I just turned 38 on Saturday, so
belated one, mate. Belated.
Thank you very much. Good old May 25th. And but as I said, when I was younger, I didn't get into Chelsea until I was about 7 or 8. Because when I was younger, I was more into big robots and sci-fi kind of things. You know, like I was believe it or not, I was more into things like Power Rangers and Doctor Who. And Alan was the kind of. But I have to say that when I first started actually getting into football, it wasn't through watching English football. I mean, when I was a nipper. The only time you used to be able to catch football really in England was on the weekends, whether it'll be grandstand, match of the day. That was what you would call your Saturday afternoon and night. You know what I mean? Do you remember that early? Because I do believe on grandstand they only used to show one game, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You had to watch the highlight. If you didn't get your team in it, you had to just wait until watch match of the day. It was a long time ago. But Do you remember Football Italia used to come on?
Yeah, I remember that one.
On a Sunday. That, strangely enough, is what kind of took, because obviously back then you had players like Zidane, Del Piero, like all those sort of like players, and these guys were monsters of football. So it was one of okay. Yeah, you got me whacked out, right? Yeah, well you got me spot on there, mate. Yeah, but obviously, and the thing is, at those days, like in the 90s, because when I was about 7 or 8, it'd have been like 92, whatever else. Here you go. Football Italia was my match of the... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Because a lot of the time we couldn't stay up to watch match of the day because that was on like 10:30s.
That's right, too late for all
nights, like, too late. So we had to get our afternoon fixed on the Sundays. And I always remember, like, oh, with the Italian flag spraying up.
Yeah.
You know, who's the guy that used to sit outside the cafes all the time? The bald-headed bloke.
Oh,
I forgot his name.
Because didn't he go on to do the World's Strongest Man thing as well?
I think so. But he'd always have the news. He'd always be sitting there with the
newspaper. Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, Milan have done it again. Failed, that is. You know, I mean, like that was kind of like how I started getting into it. And obviously, watching players like Del Piero, Zidane, you know, that helped. But it was really like in terms of that Premier League and the team I ended up supporting with Chelsea. Like it was like I was watching an Arsenal game once, and they were playing against the team that was blue. And literally, like Chelsea were blue. And the thing is, that was at those times, you know, all the other teams were like Forest were red, Liverpool were red. That obviously all shades of red and claret and all that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, who are these blue guys? And the thing is, like, there was Everton as well, but obviously, naturally, who's those blue guys? The Chelsea. Did they play in London? Yes. All right, cool. That'll do. They're blue and they play in London. That's my team. And I'm not being funny. When you're 7, 8 years old, the fact they're blue matters. In fact, that was the only thing that mattered. they were blue. That was it. They were blue. So I started watching them. Obviously, I couldn't follow it too tough because obviously I was still young, and obviously I still had to like grow up and get older and find my own means of actually watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, cued about the 90s, like the later 90s. Obviously, I started like getting into my early teens, and obviously football got more accessible on television because obviously like you got more highlights clipped, and obviously the YouTube started coming into it. So not only when it really, I suppose I really started football, like watching football religiously. And I mean, when I say religiously, I mean not just Chelsea, I mean all around the world. I suppose about 2002, when Sky Sports started covering everything, you know what I mean? Like, we had Sky Sports and we could watch Premier League, but I remember watching things like, still watching the football highlights, for Italian football highlights you used to get on Eurosport. I remember watching, obviously, Revisit La Liga and the La Liga games that used to be shown during the week and on Saturdays on Sky Sports 1, 2, and 3 back then. I used to love Revisit La Liga. That was one of my favourite shows to watch because obviously they had players like Ronaldinho's, the Pulio, excuse me, like all those sort of like early, you know what I mean, like 2002s. Because obviously, don't get me wrong, I liked football because the thing is, my main interest from football came from playing it, not watching it. And the thing is, I suppose it was when I started like getting into my early teens, like late, you know, 8s to 10s, whatever. You know what I mean? You start to get more physically active. And I'm not going to lie, when you're that age, and I was a little bit hyper when I was a nipper. So the idea of running around like an idiot, like, the idea of just running around acting like a complete psychopath suited me, mate. I was the Paul Gascoigne of Davis Lane, mate.
Davis, wow. Davis Lane.
Have you heard of that school? You've heard of that. I know you've heard of that school.
I have indeed, man. I have indeed.
He's probably been past it, knowing it.
Many times.
I used to be like, the Paul Gascoigne at Davis Lane because they used to have little football. It wasn't exactly a straight pitch. The one set of goals was there, and the other was there. But if you didn't mind the angles, I'll big up on my Flossie.
So afternoon, gosh, you're saying.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Nezo G, big up the real Tony here. No Arsenal.
Big up, Nezzy.
And he's saying, obviously, it was his match of the day.
Oh, that was a program and a half, man. It really was.
Afternoon, Danny. This is nice. This is a nice guy. Danny Talks Sport.
Really big up, nice Danny boy. Hope you're
Smash a like and subscribe, please. Thank you, matey. And they're just saying hello to each other and that. Big up Bargav as well. Big up Wolfgang and Early Doors.
Big up, dude.
And Captain Motion saying salute to all.
Big up, Captain. He's a good guy as well, Captain Motion. Lovely dude.
Blue but anti-Dew.
club.
Look at this. Yes. That's Chelsea always slapped up Spurs while West Ham struggled
with them. That's true. Early 90s, late 90s as well. We used to call it 3-point lane. There was a reason we used to call it 3-point lane because we used to slap them up all the time. We did. They had the worst home record. I think up until maybe like 10 years ago, we had they had the worst home record against us, and out of all the teams in the Premier League, I think it was peak for Spurs for a long time.
Well, we'll get on to
good old days.
We'll just catch up with some of the chat anyway. First of all, mate, Borussia Dortmund won the Champions League trophy versus Juventus team with Zidane.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Hang on, didn't Dortmund win the Champions League in '95? Because I swear that's when they won the first European Cup, wasn't it? David, let me know, please, bro. David.
You could afford Sky Sports as a youngster. Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
No, I couldn't. But my mum and dad could. Do that Ronaldo. Do you remember that classic Ronaldo celebration?
Yeah.
You got to do that one. Mum and dad could afford it. I could. Oh, come on. I was only like 14. Let me off.
It's good to see Danny in here as well. And obviously, Luke James, how we doing? They were just saying hello to each other. Danny only started watching Italian football when Gaza joined.
Fair enough. It's a pity his career didn't have more longevity. It's a shame, really.
Yeah, it's true.
Big up, Luke. Hope you're well.
Aces, how we doing? Chelsea squad of 96, 2002 should have at least one Premier League title.
4 points. 4 points away from winning a Premier League title. But on the bright side, though, they did win 5 trophies. So, not all bad.
No. I had to watch football in the States. Yeah, that's true.
1997, yeah, good year for us.
That was the first Champions League final I've seen live on TV. Well, we're all showing our ages here now, mate. Obviously, we've answered that first question.
There you go.
When his dad gave me a Descrambler, so I watch it in the 90s. Descramblers.
Dear. We used to get, just to say, one of my mates, I'm not who remain nameless. You remember dodgy cable back in the day? Like,
yeah.
Through the 90s. Like, who remembers chip cable? I'm not going to say who it was, but all like whatever having channels and however long they worked for whatever time. It was hilarious.
Yeah. You finally read your friends net. What ones works next?
Yeah, exactly.
Big up, Anthony. Big up, lads. Had a busy day today. Just run over my fucking scarecrow with my tractor. Don't be quick to come out of nowhere.
You're right, Anthony. You're right. How you doing? You're right.
Big up, Lee. Football Dad's Army. He's a nice guy as well. Arsenal fan as well. Go and see his channel.
Too.
Yeah, good bloke. Good show, good bloke.
Yeah. Looks like Dad's Army.
What was the best European final in the 90s?
Valencia, Real Madrid.
Oh, that was a good one.
When the infamous or what was the other one? Bayern as well. You got Bayern, Valencia as well. Was that in the 2000s? No, that's in the 2000s.
It's later on, I think.
With that famous image of Khan giving Canizares a hug, man. That was mad. Dog's right. You can get it back next year.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to say,
97.
97. Folks, they all sound like each other. Bristol Rovers tractor, and the Angel of Nottingham. I've never done anything dodgy, me.
Yeah, is that why you hide in the cave so they don't find you? Ajax 95. Sorry, it was Ajax. Sorry then. Oh, Juventus. Sorry, so Juventus would have won.
It'll be the men's. Yeah, look, a few things here. No, fine. Right.
Yeah, Milan. That's when that's their Cruyff dream team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We've already come up with mostly what's influenced you. Well, you've already said about what kind of influenced you for Chelsea. But what I'm going to ask you now is basically, what is your best highlight from Chelsea?
What, throughout the entirety, or shall I break it down to domestic and European?
Yeah, you can go to 10, mate. If you want to do all 3.
All right, okay. I'll do 3. I'll do best European, domestic, and favorite personal moment. Now, my favorite personal moment ever in terms of Chelsea moment when Didier Drogba scored that long-range volley against Everton in 2006-07 season. Because I was in a pub in Ireland at the time, and I was surrounded by Arsenal fans, strangely enough, but I was the only Chelsea, and I was wearing my Chelsea jersey. And I was sitting in this Irish Arsenal pub, not realising it until I was sitting in there because I was there visiting my nan. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I'm looking around, seeing Arsenal flags, and I'm wearing a Chelsea top. I thought, shit. But no, they were cool because obviously being Ireland and all villages and all that bloody hell, everyone knows everyone. So, but obviously with that game, it was I think we went 1-0 up, then Everton went 2-1 up after we scored, and then Didier Drogba, I think he equalised. Then he scored that long. I don't know if anyone else remembers it. He scored that long range volley. It was like on a half volley, and he booted it, and it went straight over Tim Howard.
Yes.
And it dipped right in. And I tell you what, considering the amount of Irish fans that were giving me banter up until that point, when we went 3-2 up, I just went absolutely. Because you know what Irish are like, they'll jib you all day long. So I was just getting it. So when he scored that, and considering it was a brilliant goal and arguably the best goal he ever scored, to be honest, Didier Drogba, I just went out. I actually ran out the pub. That's how excited I got. I was just like, we're gonna win! Like, you fuckers! Like, that's it. Chelsea in the white and blue kit. Big up, Luke James knows.
Yeah,
big up, bro. Like, well done on that one. Yeah, we were in our white and blue away kit. Lampard as well scored the other goal, I think. And so that would be my first personal thing because I got the one over the Irish lads that were in the pub, and I was by myself, so it was kind of like the ultimate. The only thing I could actually say that comes close to that actually was when I was surrounded by more Arsenal fans. Does anyone remember the Chelsea Arsenal game in 2004 in the Champions League when we knocked them out in the quarter? Was it the quarterfinals? I think we knocked them out in the quarterfinals. And Wayne Bridge scored at Highbury. And we knocked them out, and it was just like I was surrounded by about 6 Arsenal fans then as well. But that was mad. Yeah, the Di Matteo, the long shot, that was a beautiful goal as well. Very nice goal. I'll tell you, if you want to talk about pretty goals, just watch a Zola compilation.
Yes.
Back heels, flicks, volleys, free kicks, touches, dribbles. I'll tell you what, that is the guy for me who epitomizes what Chelsea is. Zola. Class. Just class. Don't get me wrong, Lampard was a hard worker, Drogba was a powerful striker, all that, but Zola for me epitomizes what Chelsea should be like. You know what I mean? Like class, humble, respectful, loved by all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like because certain people don't like you know what I mean? The people as soon as you say Lampard, Gerrard or Scholes or Drogba, they'll bring it on. But as soon as you say Zola, everyone's like, yeah. Zola, what a player. No one argues the toss. You know what I mean? What a guy.
Well, I've got a question here for Anthony for us. We've got some coming in. He's I heard your nickname is Dirk Diggler from the film Boogie Nights. Fuzzy told me, is this true?
No. I haven't even spoken to that guy in a long time either, but no. It's not Dirk Diggler, it's Dirk Tractor.
Tractor.
Anthony, it's a homage to you. Just 2012, by the way, when we won the Champions League, is obviously my favorite European moment. And just to answer the domestic one, obviously when we first won the league in 2004-05 under Mourinho. Just to answer the other 2 questions.
Yeah, just see that. Yeah, pure talent, top 5 tech-wise in the Premier. Yeah,
and he was an extremely nice guy. Extremely humble, such a nice guy, and he even managed West Ham for a little while. So
he did indeed. You know
I mean, humble. He's a humble guy, man. The thing is, I think Zola's personality is probably, and I think what sums him up when you watch Zola leave. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Go back and watch the last day when Zola leaves Chelsea, and he doesn't even want to walk around the pitch. And a couple of them, some of the coaches, actually push him and make him walk around the pitch. But it's just the fact that every time he stood, he just walked. Everyone was on their feet, clapping the guy for about 3 or 4 minutes solid. And I can honestly say it's probably the only send off to a legend that we actually done right. Yes. If I'm honest, everybody else is kind of like out the door. You go, your contract's up. Bye.
Yeah, that finished. Hello, Miss Miller. You know how we keep him well.
I like Mel. Big up.
Yeah, Dirk Tractor. It's massive.
You know, Anthony. You know, big kisses. I'll keep those brown envelopes coming. Pause.
So we've gone with your best highlights. Now, going to ask you, what is your worst moments from Chelsea?
Oh, fuck me. Pick any moment between this season and the last time we won the Champions League. Where would you like me to start?
I say, I'm going to turn the light off now. You just carry on, mate. I'm going to go and disappear. You've got long.
Get your pen and papers out and a hanky, please. This could be a while. No. I'll be real with you. The worst moment when Mourinho got sacked the first time.
Good.
Because I'll tell you what, when I will say that, we'll say this, sorry. When he was first there and we had the 2 title winning seasons and he had the 2 cup double afterwards, it was kind of like we couldn't believe. And nor should you. Don't ask questions that you get frightening answers to. No. I will say, you lose cup games. You lose like matches, like especially cup final. I'm not being funny. We've lost 6 in a row at Wembley recently. So, but the worst for me was when Mourinho left, because for us, he was Chelsea fans for that time. It was something we never would have agreed with. He was the special one. He just brought us 5 or 6 trophies in like 3 years. So it was just like it was unthinkable him leaving. It was just like shit. Oh, Jesus has died. You know.
That's true.
Like,
isn't it?
It was that. It was biblical. Because I'm not being funny. When people talk about the Mourinho era at Chelsea, they don't talk about 2015 when he won the league. They talk about 2004 to 2007. It's kind of pushed in there with like the Wenger era and the Ferguson era. You know, that's when Mourinho was dominant for those 2.5 years, 3 years, etc. Yeah, that was his time. So you know, the special one, the infamous special one quip. But yeah, definitely when he left, definitely because you lose games, so it's never going to be a match.
But when you lose a manager of that kind of standard, because I remember when I said to you I was a rep earlier. Remember going to Charlton and they were playing Chelsea, and it was the first time seeing him and his coaching style, and it was just levels above everyone else. And you could see the reason why they were winning. I mean, they slapped Charlton 4-0. But at the same point, it was just a different method the way they did things. You know, that was a breath of fresh air for my eyes. Seeing someone like that, bringing that kind of level of football into the Prem.
Tactical.
So, yeah. But not just tactical. And it was also, the technique of the training techniques, the warm-ups was so much different from the bog standard, what you normally see these days. It was a bit more tempo to it. To get the basically get your blood pumping. That was something completely different for me.
Well, the thing is, what made me laugh about Mourinho, and I know a lot of people say Mourinho can't build teams, he can't nurture talent, but one thing I found that was impressive for me about Mourinho over most things was when Ranieri got the money from Abramovich, he tried to sign all loads of new talent to try and get Chelsea up. But what I liked about Mourinho was he took the players that were already at Chelsea, like the John Terrys, the Lampards, the Gallases, the Idaho Johnsons, and he made them go up a gear. Yeah, Wenger couldn't beat him because Wenger was not tactical. And I'm not being funny. If you actually still look at Mourinho's record against Arsenal to this day, it's actually quite ridiculous. I swear he's only lost to them once in like 15 games.
Yeah.
Young man, that is one of my other favorite managers ever, by the way. I want to, because one thing about it, he's raised an interesting point. Clough is arguably the best English manager ever, because for a 5-year period, that guy was unstoppable. And I'm not being funny. Oh, what the infamous John Terry fall over? Is that what he's just talking about, the Moscow final? Is that 2000 don't get me started. When don't get me, trust me, this is when people talk about beating Pep. I can sit there and list times we've been cheated by Pep. We've absolutely murdered his teams. And the fact mate, don't even start on the manager situation right now.
Yeah, we'll come to that one.
Please don't.
One of the worst moments. I don't know if you felt the same as well. This is when Ken Bates was the owner.
Oh, Mr. Pound Man.
And you brought in Matthew Harding.
Oh, yes.
And, of course, the tragedy, getting killed in a helicopter and that. I mean, how did you feel about that when it happened? I mean, was you too young to realise at that point?
Well, looking back, I was only a nipper at the time. You don't realise the significance. Because I'm not being funny, right? And this is the one thing I will say, and this is one thing I'll advise any Chelsea fan that's on my channel tuning in. Check out the teams that Chelsea used to have back in the day, because we had some wonderful players like pre-Roman Abramovich, pre-90s, when we started proper going in foreign, if you like, players, as they were called at the time, like heavily investing from Italy as well. That's one thing Chelsea did. But the Harding, the Greavesies, like these guys, they're legends, man. And these are guys that shouldn't be forgotten because, and I know this sounds old school, but when players used to come from when the players that used to play for the teams were local boys, it was a different feel because you felt bonded to the club. That's what fans in England miss. You felt attacked. There's people you know could play for them. You know what I mean? Like, and they used to work regular jobs. I'm sure Yeti will tell you the infamous was it Stuart Pearce when he was an electrician but was still playing for Brian Clough at the same time, and the infamous iron joke, if you've ever heard it. So you know what I mean. So that kind of connect where you it was Greavesy, you had you know when the amount of Chelsea, because Ted Drake and all those lot were our first winning side in 1955. Strangely enough, we have to thank Arsenal for that because he was one of their ex-players, giving us mentality. Oh, there's a lot of history that Chelsea fans need to have a look at, and because even the rivalry from Leeds only started in the 70s, 80s, like when we started getting in each other's faces. The infamous cup tie, I think what year was it? Because we had that big massive, because it was like one of the nastiest games in like cup history. It was like 12 yellow cards and I think it was like 2 reds. Like it got really tasty, you know. But there's a lot about Chelsea's history, like going back to what you said about Harding, and there's a lot of proper English history you need to have a look at, right? And you can't miss it, like because we've had good goalkeepers, strikers, midfielders, guys like Wisey, you know what I mean? Like, oh god, the amount of great English, even in the early 90s, like all the English lads that we had in the early 90s that were all pretty good. It was mad how many good players we actually had. Yeah,
I mean, the chat's made quite a few there. Hullet, Hasselbank. I mean, Hasselbank was a brilliant player.
Mm-hmm.
He was. Petrescu, and obviously Ace has come with
Andre Flo, mate. Andre Flo, bro. He was a brilliant player. Don't forget a guy, Emmanuel Petit. He played for Chelsea as well for a little while. Remember Sebastian Veron? I could name loads of bucket loads, but don't forget Gianfranco Vialli as well.
Oh,
don't forget about the Vialli, man. You can't, Mr. Italy himself.
Yeah, what a shame with that one.
I know, RRP, bless him.
Yeah, Clough was the best manager England never had. 100% agree on that.
That's because the English FA was shit scared of him, and they knew they were shit scared of him.
No, yes, man. Is there any other worst moments you can say? I mean, obviously, apart from Todd Bowley and his kind of spending spree and his Rolodex of managers he's got at the moment.
All right, we'll get onto that later. But Mario Melchiot, good player. Well, the thing is, like, okay, you lose games, so I don't really send them up as the worst moments ever. I think maybe when Lamps left as well, because I'm not being funny between John. Okay, I like John Terry, but that guy was too controversial when he was a player. It was too many. The Wayne Bridge thing.
I was going to say that one. Yeah.
The infamous fall over, by the way. Like I'm not sure who mentioned it in 2008 in the final when he fell over. Even when we won it in 2012, when he got sent off for kneeing Alexis Sanchez in the back of the legs.
Yeah, that's right.
So, like, there was always drama around him. So, I was more towards Lamps as, like, the ideal English player, like, who was Mr. Chelsea. Yeah, the infamous slip. Oh, see you later, Dad. So, have a good one, mate. Take care, brother. Look after yourself.
Yeah, the slip. Yeah, the slip.
Yeah, the infamous slip.
I love this player. Yeah, Claude Makelele.
Yeah, Makelele, great player. Another great player. Another guy that was quite good, Michael Essien.
Essien, yeah.
He was a machine in midfield, and you could play him DM, attacking midfielder, CM. He was
Desai, yeah.
He spat at Tevez. Don't forget the infamous Anton Ferdinand. Anton Ferdinand, like with the infamous comment.
Yeah.
Right. And Sterling. I forgot about Sterling as well.
Yeah.
Too much controversy around the guy, man. But yeah, I'd say. Oh, I'll tell you another one that broke my heart as well, because I felt for him as well a bit as well. Who was it when he ripped his knee? We had it. Oh, right, that was it. Sam Hutchinson as well. Yeah, there was a young right back in the day at Chelsea. Do you remember Sam Hutchinson? And I thought he was going to be the next like Ashley Cole on the right. And I remember when I think he was, I can't remember what exactly his problem was, but he ripped his knee off in a way, and it was supposedly like a career ender. And then, but after a couple of years, like he came back. It was kind of weird, but he was never the same afterwards. But yeah, there's different reasons. There's things I could say that are horrible. Yeah, Joe Cole, another good
Joe
player.
Cole. Yeah.
Thiago, the midfielder, if you remember him.
Mm-hmm.
We had Pizarro as well. When we had Claudio Pizarro, Claudio Bilaruz, Paulo Ferreira, Ricardo Carvalho, Alex, the big Brazilian centre back, as well. He was a good player for Ancelotti. Yeah, there was lots. Terry was too busy drinking Bridges' misses to make the time for vodka. All right. Well, strangely enough, it's funny he mentions that, right? Because you know that game, that with that infamous handshake moment. Do you remember that when he was playing for West Ham?
Yeah.
I was at that game.
Was you?
At Stamford Bridge. I was at that game, and I was looking at it, and I'm thinking, because that was the day Torres scored, wasn't it? Against you, like he opened up his account for us.
Yes,
and that was when Fernando Torres scored, and it was just
Gavin Peacock.
Yeah, get Mark Steen, definitely. Yeah. Great players, man. We've had some great players.
Was it Frank Leboeuf?
Frank Leboeuf, yeah. Graham Lasso.
Wow. Yeah, there've been some good players, must admit.
Yeah, and there's been some horrific moments as well. But yeah, I mentioned Ida earlier. He's actually one of my favourite players. I think get quietly not spoken of.
Johnson.
Yeah, good player, man. He could play midfield. He could play. I'll tell you what, he's the kind of player that we kind of need now. Nkunku's supposed to be that sort of like type of player for us, but at least Good Johnson could finish, man. He could score 15 goals.
Yeah.
So he was a good player, man. Very good player.
Well, the next one we're going to ask you in that is this one. If you could become the owner of Chelsea, what would you do and why?
Yeah, Kerry Dixon, big player as well. What would I do if I was in charge of them? Well, to be honest, right, I would have done a similar process to what Todd Bowley let them not have done. But the only difference is I would have got rid of players like Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. Because I'm not being funny. Our wage bill, now, as much as I love our Roman Abramovich, he left us with a lot of problems.
Yes.
Big up. Yeah, thank you for that, bro. But Abramovich left us with a lot of problems. And if I could just... Yeah, Andy Townsend, yep. Good old Andy. But if I could change around, I'd keep maybe people like Azpilicueta. Like actual players that were like our captains and our leaders and probably weren't so much headache. Scaled down a little bit, but I would have just kept maybe one or two players that would have been a bit more helpful because I'm not being funny. Look, one of the main problems I thought Chelsea had this season was our midfield was absolute trash because we didn't have more than three, which were Enzo, Caicedo, and Connor. Our defense was just all around the place. But the first thing I would do is chuck away our fucking medical staff.
Oh, mate. Yeah, what's going on there?
I tell you the reason. I don't know, mate. Over the last 2 years, we've been like really stacked with injuries, and I'm not talking about just little injuries either. Guys have been out for 5, 6, 7, 8 months, and up until maybe about a month or two ago, that list was about 3 or 4 people long. You know what I mean? This is our captain donut, like Reece James. He comes back from a serious injury, and then after coming back from a serious injury, guy gets suspended for another 3 games. Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be sorted out at Chelsea in terms of if I was the owner. The discipline and the structure behind it, it's like a gobagoo right now. It's not. At least when under Abramovich, you knew what the aim was: win.
Yes. You know
what I mean?
Without fail.
I don't know what the aim of this lot is. Is it to build a team, build a franchise, make winners, make a baby factory? Does anyone else know? Can anyone else give me a take on it?
Well, it seems it's like, in for a couple of seasons and then off you pop and we're bringing someone else. Because off your Bowley goes next year, doesn't he?
Well, maybe. Who knows?
Some question here for you. Doesn't getting Maresca seen the same kind of mistake of getting Lampard after one good championship season?
Oh, don't forget Potter. Don't forget about Graham Potter. The problem I have with the whole manager situation is, when I was on another Chelsea stream yesterday, and I said I was upset with that appointment, I got told that certain Chelsea fans shouldn't panic. The only problem I have is, right, when this Todd Bowley ownership we were near the top of the tree in terms of we were still considered an elite club. What I don't understand is if you've taken over at Chelsea, then you know it's about winning. Why are you trying to change? If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you trying to change a philosophy that's already established us as one of the biggest, top 10 teams in the world? And that's a fact. Right, okay, regardless when you argue about trophies, when it comes down to fan base, trophies, income, all that jazz combined together, we're one of the top 10 teams in the world. If it's not broke, why are you trying to fix it? Now, I understand that with the dodginess, they had to reduce the wages a lot because not a lot of people realize that the reason why we spent 1 billion was not just about signing players, but was reducing wages as well because we have people like Mount, Havertz, all them guys were on like 300 and whatever a week. So it's just like, and I'm not being funny. The idea of paying Mason Mount or Kai Havertz right now 350k a week is laughable to me right now, especially Mount. Money Mace, you know what I mean? Like, the guy was waiting to leave so long, he had to redo his goodbye video twice.
Shit.
So it was just one of those ones like, all right. By the time the guy actually had a different haircut and everything, so it was just like, but yeah, I do think it is a mistake to answer Yeti's question directly, but unfortunately, it's the same thing because it links into his other question about Poch.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to go to this one first of all. He's going about Bowley. He said, seems to be chucking money around, trying to be Abramovich. Best two you got was Palmer and Nkunku.
Well, the thing is, it's not trying to be Abramovich because Abramovich would try and sign elite. Okay, don't get me wrong. We signed flops like when we signed Lukaku, like just about a year or so before he left. But that was on the basis of when we got him, he was a serious player. You know what I mean? Like, and even like the Werners and whatever else. But I think it's one of those ones where they're just treating it like a typical American franchise, really. They're trying to like juggle it their own way because the one thing because they're used to handling the draft system, not the transfer system. So I think they're trying to get the best blend of what they believe is sellable merchandise. This is what I don't like about the Brogies. They look at the club like it's a sellable asset because that's when you look at all these 8-year deals and whatever else, that's what it's meant to do with most of these young players that we've signed. If they're worth anything in 3 or 4 years' time, we can still make a considerable amount of money off of them anyway, because you still have 4 or 5 years in their contract to buy out. So even say, for example, Chuameka, who's a youngster we got from Villa, say even in 6 years' time, even if he's still like not that great, even if he's only worth 10 million, look, we've still got about 4 years left in this guy's contract. 25, you don't get him. So it's all long term. It just have to see if it pays off. Don't get me wrong, because as a businessman, Todd Bowley's quite clever. Because when the first thing he did was because he wowed us when he first came, because obviously he done the signings of Concedo in the first transfer. We signed all these guys like Lavia and all that kind of thing. They just got the balance wrong. That's why I said about keeping players like Cesar Azpilicueta, people that would have been experienced. And considering Reece James was injured and Gusto got injured as well, we could have used him because he could have played central as well. He played centrally for other managers under Chelsea as well. I would have loved to have seen Thiago Silva at times partnering next to him. That would have been helpful because at times the know-how in our back four has just been non-existent. Players ball watching or just like not being in position. The amount of times that we just got caught just by players not knowing what was around them because they're just not experienced enough at times to look around.
No, that's true. I mean, obviously, going on Yeti's question there, if you was the owner, though, would you keep Poch?
Well, considering how it ended, yes. Because I'm not being funny. If it really is true that this is a football project and you want to develop these young players, you've seen the results of that with Palmer. So... And I'm not being funny. Why are you getting another guy? Because I'm not being funny, okay? And this goes into about the Poch and the manager thing. I'm not a clone guy. And what I mean by that is, I know people are seeing it with the Pep clones now, but I've already seen all this process like 20-odd years ago when Mourinho was in charge at Chelsea and we had people like Andres Villas-Boas as our coaches. We had people like Brendan Rodgers as our coaches and all that kind of thing. And then these guys have gone off to do their own thing. And I'm not being funny. I would never want Brendan Rodgers managing my club. And I never want to see Andres Villas-Boas back on my club again as a head coach. So I don't really do the clone thing. And now we're just moving on to Pep clones. Because when I was on the Chelsea Hans channel last night, right, I said it this way, right? When you think about it, how Arteta is, because this is obviously the idea is we're going to get a stability project long term, like how Arteta has for Arsenal. Now, you go on Arsenal, majority of Arsenal fans, how happy they are with their stability right now.
Yeah, it's a good point. It is a good point.
Because one thing about it is, right, under four seasons of Arteta, they've won one Community Shield after spending 700 mil. And I'm not being funny. This is supposedly a guy who's a good coach and has stability and all this kind of thing. It's like, nah, I wasn't a Mourinho clone guy, so I'm not going to be a Pep clone guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that one of the things that really impressed the board was the fact of that, he really knew in depth about the Chelsea squad and the first team positions and all that kind of thing. And it was just like, yeah, but anyone looking from the outside in can have a good idea of it if you just use your eyes.
Yeah.
Because for me, what makes a good manager a manager is his decision making and his ability to anticipate things. Because realistically, you know as well as I do, Tone, to be a good manager, you have to kind of see into the future. That's why we look at like Ancelotti does, like Pep does at times when he decided to put Nathan Ake at left back, and that's when they finally won. When they had four centre backs more or less across their back four, and it was and Kyle Walker, I might as well say but yeah, I've never been a copycat guy. I've always when I was on last on your takeaway show, I said about how teams had their own identities back in the day. They had their own brands of football.
Yeah, and
I've always been. People hated the way because we had a very European style. And it was one of those ones where, sometimes it was a bit slow, but we had good technical footballers. Like we had good players. We had players that could not only be good technically, but they could be physical with you as well. We had the Droppers, Lampards, the Makeleles. These boys weren't pushovers. Some of them were quite tall, people like Branislav Ivanovic, for example. I actually think that guy's one of the best right backs that ever played in the Premier League.
Yeah, I remember him. Bloody hell.
That guy could play right back or centre back. Occasionally got pushed out at left back by Mourinho. But there was, but the only thing I would say right onto the Poch question is, if you're going to get Poch in the first place, you got to give him more than one. Particularly with the guy we were 12th. And considering half of our squad was injured for most of the season and we were competing against Newcastle and Man United and all that kind of thing, he kind of earned a bit more time, in fairness. Because he got European football. He had a good little run at the end. We beat you guys 5-0 and whatever. We had good results near the end, so it was looking on the up and up. So it was kind of like, if you were going to pull the plug, why now?
Yeah, I agree on that. I must admit, though, I mean, like, for me, I could see that a couple of weeks back in the post-match talks, Poch, he just kind of said he weren't going to be there.
Yeah, he kind of did.
And when you look at the fact of, as you said, the way the club's handled it, it wasn't his team in the first place. He definitely was a Bowley team. And he's done well near the end of the season to get where he was. So I think for a lot of people, it was quite a shock that, when it was announced that he's actually leaving the club.
Well, the thing is, this is the embarrassing thing about being a Chelsea fan right now. Over the 2 seasons, like we've had since, 2 and a bit now, since we've had Broy as our owner, we've had 5 managers?
Yeah, I think a bit more than that actually.
Well, no, we had that assistant coach guy. We had Pothead. We had Tuchel. We had Lampard. We had Poch. Have I missed anyone? I think it's about 5.
5 or 6, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So it's kind of like literally, you know what it is? You know what it sounds like to me, and excuse the reference. Right? Okay, is there any ladies watching Mel, Happy, anyone else? Like, this is not, it's like watching a lady try and pick out a dress. It's just like, I like this one, but I like that one, and I like that one. It's like, please just pick one.
I know.
And I mean that with the absolute care and respect. Because I love me lady folk.
How are we doing, Chris? Popping in to say hello and smash the likes. Thank you very much, matey. And also, Mummy's saying hello to him and that. He's coming out with Havertz, 65 million. I bet you still celebrate that sale.
Hey, dude, like, you want to know what makes me laugh? Yeah, you want to know the amount of people that told me do you miss Kai Havertz now that Arteta's got the best out of him? And I look at him like, what? Like, are you serious? Why would we miss Kai Havertz when we've got a guy in his position now that put out double his output? Even Jackson, who's supposed to be the fresh kid on the block, who cost 37 million, got 15 goals in the Premier League. Kai Havertz was 65 and got 13 or 12, if I remember correctly. So realistically, yeah, it was. Like Baldy Stephen chat. Thanks, man. I wonder who that is. Oh dear. The best out of him. Wait, hang on. E-Ross, if you're talking the best out of him in terms of Kai Havertz, so explain to me then why his goal scoring for you guys for Arsenal in the Champions League was exactly the same as it was for Chelsea when he was in the Champions League for the first season. 1 goal. That's not improvement. If he would have scored a couple of more goals in every competition, I might have agreed that Arteta got the best out of him. But the fact he got 2 goals more, maybe 3 goals more in the Premier League, and then didn't score anywhere else, 1 goal in the Champions League, no goals in the FA Cup, no goals in the Carling Cup. Is that improvement?
True.
Just saying.
4th Wang subtraction. Wang up yay. What a name.
Come again. Sorry.
Nice photo, Tony. Canio's a proper head case. Yeah, great player.
Got to watch him play as well. Oh, this is the other thing I'll drop in, and I said this to Budget, and I'll tell you. The first football team, big Premiership, not Premier League, Premiership team I got to see live was West Ham, Manchester United at Upton Park. Because the 58 bus round the corner, Tony will tell you this. The 58 bus round the corner for me takes you virtually straight outside the ground.
Yep, pretty straight.
Me and a mate of mine called Charlie, we used to go down there on a regular basis. She was an Hammer fan, but she learned a lot earlier that you could get into West Ham games back on match day. If the ground wasn't sold out completely, they used to sell tickets to under 16s for £1.
Kids for £1.
Tony knows. Do you know the amount of times I got into West Ham for £1? I saw Arsenal play, Manchester United play. I saw them play against Chelsea, all at home and all for £1.
Wow, man.
It was beautiful. I'll tell you what, man. Premier League prices to back in it's chalk and cheese, man. If I told you,
yeah, man. Them days,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Another question for you, matey.
Yes, sir.
If you had the chance to talk to any player or manager, what main question would you ask them? So one manager and one player.
Now, the manager one, Minas Rice. If you guys have not heard of Minas Rice, that's the guy that actually established what Barcelona consider the Johan Cruyff philosophy. Because he's the guy that signed Johan Cruyff for Barcelona. But the reason why I liked him, because he brought total football to Europe generally, not just in terms of Holland. But to be honest, all these systems that you see now, all the Pep systems, all the people copying Pep, they're all off this guy, by the way. Because if you want actually the pressing style and the playing and everyone's shifting positions and playing 1-2s and the tick-attack of football, that was all invented in Deutschland. Or Holland, I should say, sorry. But if I could speak to any coach, it would be him, because he had great ideas behind football. He had great ideas behind moving players around positions, and he started using the inverted positions, like inverted right backs and left backs, because obviously they'd shift into midfield, because there's obviously the Holland players back there could do it as well. They had great technical footballers at the time.
So what would be your main questions you'll ask him, though?
How did you come up with this idea? Because back in those days, it was still everyone would just either be in their own half or not. What made the idea of, because he'd almost split the team up into two sides. You had the attacking side and you had the defensive side. Now the defensive team would push up, but they would also do their own individual jobs. The way he's considered one of the greatest managers of all time. I think Football Greatest did a video on him. Go and check it out. Because just tactically, this guy was just levels. It was just levels. You know what I mean? And the thing is, he's a system. The idea of total football is something that's been accepted into the modern era, as how a lot of teams play. because total football is the idea of playing out for the back and playing as comfortably in the back as it is you are up front. And that's where the idea of all these teams now are playing out from the back from. So all this bullshit that you see, all these teams in England trying to do over the last 5 years, if you want to see where it all originated from, and even where Pep Guardiola got the idea from, go back and have a look at Minus Royce, because he's the one that helped establish it all. So, yeah. And I'd ask him, how the hell did you come up with this? But a player... Well, any player would be like, did Frank Lampard, hey, did you leave your missus with John Terry at any point? No, I'll take that back.
Clipped.
Well, any player, that's a tough one. Hernan Crespo. How did that? I want to know how that guy got so good at finishing. Because if you want to talk about a marksman supreme, and you want to talk about a guy that would finish, and everyone who plays as a striker in the Premier League can learn from him, and I do mean everyone, because this guy doesn't miss from 2 yards. If you actually know who Hernan Crespo is and the way that guy could finish for Milan, Chelsea, whatever team he played, Parma, whatever team that guy played for, that guy was unique for me because he had that ability where it didn't matter if he was... Okay, I know this sounds stupid, but he was the closest thing to Bergkamp we ever got. In the terms of left foot, right foot, his head, it didn't matter. It was all done with equal plump. And if you look at the style of the guy and the way he could finish, this guy could like jump up in the air, do volleys. He could, like, it was kind of like, I don't know, he was like a mix between Ibrahimovic and he was another great goal scorer. And Teddy Sheringham. You know, he had that ability where if you gave this guy a chance, he would score. And I never forget when he got revenge for us against Liverpool. When we played against them in 2006 season, and he got revenge against Liverpool for the Champions League. We beat them 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. And that was obviously when Benitez and Mourinho were like proper, like, because the infamous goal would happen over the line. So that was really like, and the way he took it, because that guy could fit. You know what I liked about? I'll be honest with you too. You know what I liked? You know how players back in the day could drill shots across the floor.
Yes.
And they used to make it proper, almost unsavable for the goalkeeper because they could just smash it across the floor, and it would just. He could do that, like, so well.
It's true, and it's like a lost art in there, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what I mean, Tony, about how the ball would literally just be placed along the ground, but it'd be hit so hard by the time the goalkeeper tried to dive, it'd already be past him. Like, that kind of finishing's obsolete. It's like how Henry used to finish as well with his place shots as well. Like they used to be so hard for the goalkeepers to get them. Like, but you know, they don't finish like that anymore.
No,
they just don't.
No. Some teams just want to try and walk it into the back of the net.
Well, hence the reason why we get onto Minus Royce. All the people that like Pep and all these guys try and copy, probably the exception of Carlo Ancelotti. He has his own mind, bless him. But yeah, but all these Peps and Pep clones, yeah, this is the philosophy that Minus Royce. Go and have a look.
Have a look at that. Another question for you, Matty. And you've already mentioned some of them, but I'm going to get you on the spot here with name your 5 all-time players at Chelsea.
Well, obviously, I'm not putting John Terry in that category before anyone asks. So no, I know he's got the trophies and he's a legend, but as a man, I don't like him. So, and you ask for mine, not of the club, my favourite Chelsea players. So John Terry's instantly, because for me, you got to be not only a class player, you got to be a class dude as well. And John Terry's not that. So, my top 5. Now, this is based on No, Danny, come on, you can't be. How are you defending John Terry as a Liverpool fan? Have a word with yourself. In terms of me, because how good they were, and Lampard, Makelele, Drogba, Essien, Ashley Cole, of course.
There's your 5.
Ashley Cole. Well, actually, can I just take... Okay, because I'm not going to... Can I squeeze Branislav Ivanovic in there? No, because we had some... Because I'm not being funny. We had arguably not okay, we didn't have the longevity of dominance that Man United did, but we had arguably, I did say Drogba, but I have to say, like, we had some serious players in their position because obviously Drogba was Mr. Cup final, 11 Cup finals, 11 goals. Ashley Cole was arguably the best ever left back to play in the Premier League. I'm not being funny. I'd argue Branislav Ivanovic was arguably the best right back to play in the Premier League as well, because I'm not being funny. He was quick, he was big, he was strong, he was fast, he was technical. So, like, it's rare that you get all those things. Yeah, Carvalho, another one.
Yeah.
Another monster. Yeah, big up, big T-Boys TV. Big up, bro.
Big up, Tyler. Yeah, don't forget as well, guys. While we're also here and there, don't forget Wolfgang Division, T-Boys TV, Longhead Yeti's Cave. We've had Meta Football TV in there. Don't forget to go over to these channels, share, like, and subscribe to these.
Is it right if I put my channel link in the description? Is that right?
Absolutely. That's not a problem at all, mate. Not a problem at all.
Too much left. Thank you, man. It's been a blast. I appreciate this.
No, it's good, mate. It's good. I'm glad I actually got you on for a change.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be more available for the takeaways soon. So, like, I was just where I've been getting my house sorted and things sorted with my missus. So, yeah, I'll be more available for the takeaways soon.
No worries,
hopefully,
mate.
My weekends will be my own.
Lovely.
God be willing.
Another one for you, and this could be anything. This one. What are you most proud of?
Well, obviously, that's a general question, not a football question. So,
you could do both. You know, if you want to, you can answer it as football as well as yourself, mate. Good afternoon, Jose. Good afternoon, Tony Wolf, and all in the chat. Again, another great guy. He's a good guy as well, Jose.
Big up, Jose. Was that Jose or Jose?
Yeah, he'll tell you.
Looking like RoboCop. Yeah. Yeah. Ola gets me with that one. Okay. On the RoboCop vibe, Dead or Alive, you're subbing to me.
Yeah, but which one are you? Is he talking about RoboCop 2 in that? You the baddie?
What, Kane?
That's the one.
The drug dealer.
Yeah, that's the one.
Wait, what about me screams drug dealer and Kane?
All you got to do is put the round rose tinted spectacles, mate. You're done. You're done.
I say it was the Benzodrine's making my teeth click.
Yeah, but you got to do your muscles in your neck as well, though, at the same time.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, no. He said Jose, but he didn't tell me if you were Portuguese or Spanish. That's why I said Jose or Jose. That's why I asked. I did ask. I promise you, dude. I did ask.
Clarence Boddicker.
Okay, when I used to wear my glasses with my big forehead, I could have got away with that myself. Oh, man. Yeah, good old days. RoboCop, all that jazz. But yeah, Dead or Alive, sub to me, please. But yeah, proudest moments, back to it. Now, football-wise, got to be the Champions League. When we first won the Champions League, because it was like, it's still probably the best night. And we beat Bayern Munich in their own back garden, by the way, to win that final. In a Champions League final as well. That was, no one thought we could do it, and we did. And we destroyed, and we beat every big team in Europe on the way to that final as well. So we beat Barcelona, we beat Bayern, we beat Benfica, we beat Bayer Leverkusen. Who else did we beat? We beat another big team. It was Napoli. When we beat Napoli as well, when we came back 4-1. You know what I mean? That was a good moment as well. That was up there as well, when we came back 4-1 against Napoli, when we were 3-0, 3-1. Was it 3-0? Yeah, when we were 3-1 down from the first game. Here you go. Speaking of the devil, big up, Zig.
Chelsea, big up.
Big up, man. Napoli was a good. That was probably up there. But the Champions League, because the thing is, though, with Napoli, it was a matter of we were paying for our own mistakes. But with Bayern, it was like the Lions' Den sort of situation. Oh, you got no chance. Because obviously, you know, you're in Bayern Munich's back garden. It's a Champions League final in their own ground. You've got absolutely no chance of winning it. And we dug in El Drogba with the equaliser and then the winning. And it was nice for Drogba as well, because one thing that sticks out about that final, going back and watch it, was when Drogba scored his winning penalty, he actually cries straight away. Right? He actually runs to Peter Cech, because obviously Peter Cech saved the penalties, and he instantly starts crying. So it was just kind of a matter as well, bless him, the way, because he was already sitting down on the ground because he missed his penalty, and as soon as Drogba scored it, he just dropped back and started crying.
Yeah,
it was so emotional, man. That the first time's always the most emotional. But
of course it is. Of course it is.
But the thing I'm proudest most of in life at the minute is my friends and family. And the reason why I say that is because when I was a youngster, I was in and out of I got into a lot of trouble through my own fault or not. I'm not going to get into that. When I was between like 5 and 11, yeah, I was in a lot of trouble. I was in and out of a lot of different places where they tried helping me control my anger and all that kind of thing. So, but without my friends and my family, all good, and I've still got the same friends from then as I do now. It's all good fella shit now, man. I've got guys that I've had friends for like 34, 35 years now. Like Tom, Ashley, all these guys, I've all known them all 20 years plus. So, you know, my friends from then and my friends now and my family, it's like, my mum, I get a lot of my chilled out characteristics, but then again, I get a lot of my funny and relaxed, like quirky characteristics from my dad, man. Like you're only as good as those around you. So
for sure. And we're pleased to know you for it as well, mate. Really are.
God bless everyone, man. Everyone here, man. Thank you, everyone.
He's going back onto his Robocop vibes. I know some YouTubers look like the guy after he got melted in the chemicals. But I prefer not to speak. To speak will get me in big trouble.
You've already just bloody spoken. How can you say you prefer not to speak after dropping the comment first?
Their country, their city, their backyard, our trophy.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Drogba with the lemon juice ponytail. What a legend.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, the lemon juice pony. That's it. Well done.
We know what we are. Drogba was right saying disgrace after that.
No, it was not just a disgrace. It was a fucking disgrace.
Great go, Wolf. Keep going, brother. Absolutely.
Thank you, Ross. And you're another one everyone's been kind to me. Tony has. He's been nice to me, you know. And there's been ups and downs in this little YouTube lock. So, you know.
Yep. I know no one answers on a post.
Thank you, Danny.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, but you know, definitely proud of my friends, family, and my YouTube associates as well. Some of them are batshit crazy, but they're cool.
That's gonna be the next question, actually. You know.
Oh, is it? Oh, go on then, fire away.
What inspired you to do YouTube?
Well, this goes back to me being a sci-fi fan, strangely enough. When I was a nipper, my first love in terms of the first thing I was like dedicated to outside of just your normal life was Doctor Who and Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was like first starting doing YouTube in 2012, I was playing a game called Star Trek Online.
Yes,
and basically I was building up a fleet on there. with loads of people in it, and to be honest, I was so like deep into it. I was just like, oh, let me create a YouTube channel. We can start like doing our journeys and stuff, like trying to do it like episodes and all that kind of thing. That's what really got me into it. And considering I helped build up that fleet with like 300 or 400 people in it, it was kind of like everyone would come in there now and then as well. If you go back and watch some of my older videos that are there, you'll see loads of different names that I'm always doing things with and people with. And the thing is, like, even in the chats, when you listen to the videos, you can hear there's about 11, 12 people in the background, all in different parties and all that, having a natter. So, like, what inspired me was just to, like, do exactly what I'm doing on the football thing, just banter with other people, share the vibe. I don't take it that seriously because, obviously, I do just Chelsea matches. I don't really stream other games on other teams. I know a lot of other YouTube content creators that like to do that. You know, they all like the championship playoffs the other day. A lot of people were streaming that. I've always been that. If it's not really involving Chelsea, I don't really give a shit. So it's kind of like that's why I don't really stream. Don't get me wrong, I'll do the odd Newcastle stream because a lot like Mama Flossie, she's obviously my moderator. She was the very first person on YouTube to come and help me. She said, "Look, Wolfie, if you need help, because obviously I know you're new at this, you know what I mean? Like, come and I'll help you." And Mama Flossie's been there from day one, so big up to her for that.
Queen of the moderators.
No, yeah, of course. And the only moderator I got other next to my missus. So, you know, she was the first one to be helpful to me. Tony Ibarra as well, DJ Crane, another guy that was super nice to me as well, because I didn't know any of these guys at the time, and Mam as well. And literally, like, on Instagram, I started getting like 3 or 4 messages from people. Hey, Simon, really enjoyed your stream, like, or Wolf, like as people call me, like, very enjoyed your stream, like listening to you, that kind of thing. And it's just kind of spun off of there. Like, I like interacting. I think I'm at my best when I'm interacting with other different types of people because they can bring out sides of yourself as well. Because I'm big. I like to learn. And if I can learn from someone by listening to their point of view and getting a different take on things, because certain people will view things not quite from the angles that you will.
True.
So it's always nice to like listen to people, hearing what they got to say, taking on board, taking what you think of it, and because you know they say understanding's a double-edged sword, isn't it? There's your side of it, my side of it, and then what we both take from it. So yeah, but I have to say with the YouTube thing. One of the main inspirations I got from watching YouTube was I wouldn't like to say Lee Gunner, but it was them that some of the Arsenal fans, one or two of the older West Ham fans, because I started proper watching fan channels probably about February last year. I started watching the Southern Gooner, Tony Claude TV, Jezza. You weren't around yourself that much yet. I think I'd seen Budgie in the stream somewhere before I'd met him on your stream.
Yep.
But it was just one of the, because obviously I wasn't in and out of all these things at that time. It was Green Street Elite. I didn't know it was the Green Street Elite at the time, but I mean, that's what keeps me doing it though. Because if you want to talk about the inspiration and what's keeping me inspired to even do it now, is the fact that I banter with people. Some of the Chelsea boys I've known, I'm very lucky because guys like JPT, big shout out to him. I do Blues Brothers with him.
Yeah.
Super chilled out guy, very nice, very relaxed. Latimus Prime, another guy, super chilled out, relaxed, doesn't talk much. Sometimes looks like he loses the plot a little bit in terms of what's going on around him. But obviously a nice lad. Deals can contribute, although he can get angry and passionate, also has a different take on things. And he has the view, because he goes to games a lot more than me as well.
Okay.
So it's nice to hear what he says about what the feeling's like in the stadium as well. Because I'm not being funny, like I think, season ticket holders now have to wait for a queue about 3 or 4 years now at Chelsea. So, I can forget that for a little while. And I'm not being funny. I've got other things to do right now, like my YouTube thing in my house and stuff like that. So maybe in a year's time. Good concept, though, to keep things going. Yeah. But what Tony's concept or mine?
This what I'm doing.
All right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got it from me. I was doing it first with Wolfgang. No joke.
Checks in the post.
Yeah. Plug for that next week, by the way. He'll be on with me next week. Hopefully, Tony will be.
Yeah.
So, if you want to see more, make sure a little plug for that, by the way, because obviously he'll be with me.
Yeah.
So a little plug for that next week, Wolfgang.
My mum sends me thousands of birthday and Christmas cards with different names on, just to make me feel wanted. Love you, mum.
Love you, mum. As long as you're not at the point where you're sending cards to yourself, that's when it gets worried. When you're doing a proper like Richie from Bottom, the lads on the Art Royal. What lads on the Art Royal?
Brilliant.
Good stuff. But yeah, as I said, like.
Good stuff.
It is. It's a YouTube vibe. As long as you stay around the right kind of people, it's all good. As long as you stay around the right kind of people.
Another one for you, mate.
Yes, sir.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Oh, fuck me. I don't even know where I see myself in 5 days' time. Hopefully with about 5,000, 6,000 subs monetized. And me and my baby girl sitting on a tropical beach somewhere.
Doing it live.
Doing it like, well...
Not doing it...
Pose. He meant the YouTube thing live on the beach, not...
Yeah, we're not over the watershed yet, yeah. So.
Yeah, now you know why Tony's lost his hair. Too many inappropriate questions. I'm kidding. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully 5 years... Everyone, and I mean this for everyone, and I'm talking about not just for my sake, and on a serious note, no jokes. I hope Yeti gets monetized quickly. I hope you guys do. I hope you both get to 1,000 subscribers quick. Fuzzy. I hope, obviously, Tony Claude TV, who's a guy I work with a lot quite often. I hope he gets even more subscribers. I hope everyone that I'm talking to does well. You know what I mean? I hope all of you just fly ahead and do your own thing. Because with me, I'm not that serious about this YouTube thing. I'm always kind of laid back with it. You know what I mean? I don't do probably as many shows as I should. But I like to think when I do a show, I do it with quality.
Yeah,
so So, well, here you go. I'll ask you, Tony. Do I do stuff with any quality? And
No,
anyone
not
in
at
the chat?
all,
Oh,
no,
there you
not at
go.
all. Thanks for asking that question. No, I mean seriously, mate, you do. Yeah, when you look at it, you know, your knowledge base is untrue. You know, which is always good to see. And no one beats that laughter of you, mate.
Yeah,
no one beats that.
Well, I try and keep with me in my streams, and I know Tony shares a similar mindset. Positive vibe, calm vibe. Even if you get a bit barky at each other, as long as it's not outrageous and you're maintaining the respect. You know, what I mean, I'm always good for a laugh. Obviously, as you see with Yeti and Tony, like we're not afraid to dig at each other a little bit, and we have a laugh about it afterwards. You know, I'll still say thank you, sir, at the end of it, because obviously I'm on his channel and I'm going to pay him the respect he's due. So. You know what I mean? That's it. Yeah, yeah. Best way to be enjoy it. That's exactly what the Longhead one said. It's spot on.
Yeah,
that's how you enjoy it.
We're all in agreement on that one.
And hopefully I've maintained, even though I've got busier doing my own channel and so have the lads, because when I first started up doing my YouTube stuff with Yeti and Fuzzy particularly, you know what I mean? Like I was on with them virtually every weekend, but obviously we've all gone off and done our own things. Obviously the Longhead one does his review show and his game streaming, and Fuzzy does his little bits in there. In terms of he does his little bits of analysis, which is always good to listen out to, and everyone's doing that their own thing and flourishing in their own way. I couldn't have asked for more, and I hope it continues.
Absolutely. And the last question I got for you before the people in the chat can start asking some questions, and this one I always ask at the end is: if you were stuck on a desert island, what 3 people would you like to be stuck with?
Oh God! Desert island. What 3 people would I be stuck with? And it could be anyone.
Anyone.
All right. My missus is the first one, because obviously, like one thing about I know some people say their missus are annoying and all that, but one thing with my kid, I'm very lucky because never had an angry exchange with her, never had a rude word with her. So we've always ended up every time we smile and we chill with each other. It's easy. It's just so easy, and like it doesn't matter if she goes away to work for a few days or whatever else and comes back or whatever. It's just so easy. And I'm not being funny. There's times I don't see her for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But every time I do see her, it's like we've never left each other. I'm very lucky on that one. So my missus would be one. My best mate Tom would be the second one because he doesn't eat a lot. So like if we're stuck on a desert island with a food ration, I ain't got to worry about this guy nibbling everything. And there you go. Just have a laugh. Jack Sparrow would be the third one because it would just be funny.
That's right. You can jump on his back and he'll get away on sea turtles. You'll be all right, mate.
You know what I mean? Sea turtles, mate. You know what I mean? Just do it like that. Hair off my neck. You know what I mean? Just a laugh. You know why not? Why not? But
very close to home, people that you've chosen there. Very wise choices.
Well, you go what you know, don't you?
Very wise choices. So that's me done with you on the question bank. So let's ask the people in the chat if you've got any questions to fire Yeti. Yeti. Well, you can ask him as well. Any questions you've got to answer, Wolfgang, please fire them in now. I've got one here from Anthony Herbert, which is the one we can answer for him. Question: what should I call my own show?
The Tractor Shed. Hang on, are you actually? Is that a serious question or is that a mockery question?
It's probably if it is, it's an easy one, isn't it? I don't fucking know yet. Simple as that.
Prick on tour. Oh man, I think the Tractor Shed would suit him because he always hello Malia, big up. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, we're all doing. Hope you as well. Nice to see you both doing a stream. Yeah.
Well, he finally coughed up enough.
Exactly.
As soon as he came up with the dough, I was there, Malia. Like I say,
£1.50. That cough candy sweet is fucking. It was
hey,
done.
You know what, mate? That's my Costa coffee on the way home sorted. Anthony Hibbert unleashed. That sounds like more something for his fans only, though. That's what you need, the Anthony Hibbert or Tractor Unleashed. I don't know, but yeah. Any other questions? I'm not sure if that was serious or not, though, from Anthony.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to see Anthony do his own show because he's got the knack for talking.
He has
That
indeed,
Anthony,
mate.
he's a very lovely man, and he's the epitome of dropping humour into it all the time. I don't think I've ever had a serious. We spoke about factual things, but I don't think I've ever had a serious conversation with Anthony. Lovely guy, but not in a serious way.
He does one every now and then. Anyone in the chat got any questions for Wolfie?
He is. Anthony's a very, very funny dude, man.
He is indeed.
I was going to ask Tony questions, but I'm going to save that for next week when he's on my channel. So, you know. And then, by the way, before you ask anyone else in the chat, why am I so good looking? That's a secret, and I can't answer it. So don't ask that one.
Okay, there's no questions coming in. So, Wolfie, can you just say what you've got coming up in your channel?
Well, later on today, later on, I'm on with Ola and them lot on the Fight Week show because I'm obviously an MMA
Good
fan
show.
as well. So I'm going off to the Dust Off Shakedown. Hang on, Malia's got a question. Wait a minute. As soon as he says that, we're going to round it off. Everyone starts asking questions.
Question there. Well, yeah, he's asking, where did you buy your curtains?
B&Q. No, next question. What's wrong with my cut? Is that a dick?
Wolfie, which other team do you think is great in the Premier League?
Well, obviously, great teams means history as well. So, Liverpool and Man United are great. Man City are on the way to starting their own little legacy now because they're chasing everyone now who's top and first clubs in England now. They're on the way. That's not wallpaper, by the way. That's paint. That's paint and a border.
He's asking some questions. Jesus.
I know. But yeah, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, they're all great clubs. West Ham have all got different kind of culture as well. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things about other teams that I like. Like I said about a little while ago about identity, when all these teams had their own individual, they were at least respect-worthy. Even teams like Stoke, Jesus Christ, you'd say they're a bit of a dodgy team, but you wouldn't want to play them, would you? Especially away at home.
Tyler's got a question for you. Expectations for Chelsea next year as it stands?
Top 10. Try and make top 10 because the weight, like we were talking about earlier on with the manager, it's too early to tell. It's too early to tell. But if we can shake injuries and not getting all the players injured all the time, hopefully, we can make maybe top 6 again. But it's because we've literally gone back to square one at the beginning of this season because we got rid of Poch. It's all thank you, ma'am. We got I just hope we can build on what we did this season and not go back to square one like we did the beginning of this season and last season. So it's touch your toes time for us, really. Who is your favorite YouTuber and why? Jackenfell. He does a load of stuff on old school ships, like warships, like Bismarck and Scharnhorst, and because I'm a big fan of boats, especially like old school battleships and stuff like that. He's my favorite YouTuber.
The Hood, Prince of Wales, things like that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Hood actually, because the tragedy of the Hood is one of those ones where she should have never gone against Bismarck in the first place. Because she was breaking down, and I don't know if anyone remembers the story about the Hood and how she got blown up. It was super fast. But the one thing with the Hood was she was from an era that was different. She was she was a
World War I battleship.
She was a World War I battle cruiser. That was the thing. She was a World War, and she never had the armor all round.
No, she only had it halfway fitted before she had to go back out to sea.
And even her engines were still breaking down as she was trying to chase down Bismarck as well. So it was kind of like if she had been fully refitted and modernized, as the expression is, to fight Bismarck, then maybe because obviously she would have had the deck plating would have been put in for the armor, and Bismarck couldn't have shot from it because they knew that she had that weakness as well. Because when Bismarck shot it,
that was a lucky shot. Yeah, but
it was a lucky shot, but he was kind of the worst.
He made a turn, and all of a sudden that's where the shell hit just past the weak area.
Yeah, well,
unlike you, mate. I like my battleships as well, mate.
Oh, I love them too, but it was a tragedy because he did a great video on if the Hood had been modernized, what would have been? It would have been a lot different. Hood would have, because she had 15-inch guns. She was huge, and if they would have sorted out the armor and the engine problems, and the fact that they had King George V there as well, and it was only a cruiser that Bismarck had for cover, they would have smashed the crap out of Bismarck there and then. But you know, the infamous, obviously, a magazine detonation is a seaman, especially being on a magazine detonation is the last thing you want, because the chances of you surviving that are slim to none.
Yeah,
and that was out of a crew of 100, 1,033,
1,500 people.
There you go, and 3 guys survived out of the whole ship. And strange enough, in the Doctor Who link as well, John Pertwee, who was my favourite Doctor, served on HMS Hood and only got taken off of it 2 weeks before the thing got blown up.
That's because he went in the TARDIS and that he knew what was happening.
Yeah, he got out of there pronto, mate.
And he's asking, what's your favourite food? Caribbean.
Jerk chicken. Easy. Love that. Rice and peas, some coleslaw, maybe some banana cake. Because I had a Jamaican auntie, you see. So, you know, I mean that. So, I was raised with Jamaican folk. So, I got a lot of love for them.
Who is your female celebrity crush and why?
Oh, my God.
They're coming out some thick and fast now. The questions are coming, mate.
I know. And you said we were running off the stream.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Funny that. I don't really have. I'll be real with you. I don't really have celebrity crushes. If I would have said back in the day, I would have said Tiffany Amber. From Saved by the Bell and all that, like when I was a young'un. But modern celebrities like the Lady Gagas, the Nicki Minaj's, all these sort, don't appeal to me, man. The plastic.
Favorite movie?
Shawshank. Is that Shawshank, Terminator 2, and probably Assault on Precinct 13, the original. If anyone watches has seen it, because I'm a particular Napoleon Wilson in that movie. I love that movie.
Napoleon Wilson, yeah. How many hairs on your chin?
How many hairs on your chin? There you go. 2. just to save it up. Will Chelsea end up if we're lucky next season? Yes, Malia. If we're lucky, because in Leicester manager we try. I don't get it how all the managers for this job were linked. Right? The Ipswich manager, the Leicester manager, and it was just like, how did Company go Bayern Munich?
I know.
After getting Burnley relegated. What am I watching?
Hansi Flick's near Barcelona.
Well, he's a good manager though, and he didn't get no one relegated. So I get that. But yeah. Would you...
must be the name. Would Tony look good in a perm?
I think you'd have to ask the guy himself. You know, like, would you look good in a perm? I wouldn't mind seeing Tony with a Jericho. That'd be great. Like, so he could stain and mark the back of the chair. That's how much he could do.
Oh man, what was you thinking just before I asked this question?
I don't know. What was you thinking just before you asked that question?
At least they dodged the iceberg, yeah.
Well, that's true.
Hey everyone, Mark, thoughts on Chelsea in the Conference League, or will the team decline due to FFP?
No, they'll take Conference League. Why are they going to decline? Don't listen to the papers. Please don't listen to the papers. Please, about FFP and all this crap. Please don't listen to the papers. That's why we didn't sign anyone in January. We'll make sales and we'll be all right. I don't believe all this FFP crap. Damn the vision right now of Tony with a perm. Right, do you think it would be looking better if we perm his beard as well?
Yeah, just get it all going.
The old twisties. Do you remember the old twisties? Like, you used to get people like all the Chinese bad guys back in the day.
Anyway, people in the chat, if you haven't already seen it, this is the link to Wolfie's channel. So if you haven't already, please go over there and see him and give him a little bit of love, share, like, and obviously subscribe to this guy as well. Super guy. And it's been a pleasure having him on the show yourself.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No, you're most welcome, mate.
Can I just finish plugging my channel, though? Because we kind of stopped to answer the questions. Can I just finish that?
Of course you can.
Right. What's my best impression? Oh, go on, Bennett. In terms of what I got coming up on my channel, I'm doing my Blues Brothers stream later on tonight. End of one with about 11:30 tonight. If Tony would want to come on there, he can. But I've got a feeling it'll be a bit late for him because obviously I've got to wait for JPT to come back from work. So I've got my Blues Brothers thing coming up tonight on my channel, and it'll be the end of the season stream. And I'm going on the Fight Week show later on with Ola Leroy, and all the rest of them, that motley crew tonight. And the Dust Off Shakedown at 9 o'clock. So obviously, make sure you check them guys out as well in the the Fight Week show. Great lads, they're all lovely guys. They've all got a lot of time for me as well, just like Tony has, and I appreciate every single one of you. You're lovely people. Thank you very much.
No, it's been a pleasure having you on, Wolfie, and that. And again, thanks very much. People in the chat, as always, pleasure having you guys in here. We've had some great comments. We had some funny ones as well. And yeah, all I can say is,
and big up the long-haired one as well.
Absolutely,
brother.
Absolutely, for Wolf, Long-haired Yeti's Cave, great guy. And as always, Simon, it's been a pleasure having you on Spotlight, and we are basically out. So, thanks everyone
in the chat. Thank
you. Catch you next time. Oh yeah, by the way, don't forget before I go, tonight 8:30, it's the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly show with Anthony, Fuzzy, and myself. I did forget. Yes, I did forget. It's only just kind of caught it near the end myself.
It's a good thing I reminded you by plugging my own show.
Absolutely, all these things going on.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So just remember, we've got that show tonight. Going to do a bit of a twist tonight. We're going to see 3 different characters on tonight, and also we're going to look to pick what we class as the Premier League team of the season out of the 3 clubs. So.
That's an only bad.
So again, thanks guys. We'll catch you next time. Take care for now.